I used to think couples therapy was a waste of time. Not in a dismissive way, just logically. How could a stranger, someone with a clipboard and a few degrees, possibly understand the years, the context, the invisible threads between two people? How could a 50-minute session untangle years of frustration, unmet expectations, and late-night arguments no one remembers how they started? But when Emma brought it up, I didn't push back. Not because I believed in it, but because she did. Or at least, that's what she told me. "It's not that I don't love you anymore," she said one night over dinner, her voice gentle, almost clinical. "I just don't feel seen, heard. I don't feel like we connect the way we used to." I remember the exact moment she said it, the way her fork barely touched her plate, the distant look in her eyes like she was already halfway out the door, but still pretending to sit at the table. We'd been married for 6 years. 2 kids, Liam, 5, and Sophie, 2. I work in IT security, mostly remote. Emma used to be a nurse, but left work after Sophie was born. She said she wanted to be present for the kids during their early years, and I respected that. I respected a lot of things about her. So, when she said she felt unseen, it hit me, because I hadn't seen it coming. Not the distance, not the discontent, and definitely not the unraveling that followed. But I said yes. I agreed to therapy, because maybe talking would help. Maybe it was just stress. Maybe I was missing something important. Or maybe, deep down, I knew something was already broken, and I was hoping a therapist might help explain how it got that way. Before things got complicated, before the lies, the gaslighting, the betrayal, I want to say this clearly. I loved her. God help me. I still loved her. That's what made the fall so much worse. We weren't always like this. My name is Zachary Hayes. I'm 34 years old, a web designer for major brands, father of 2, and, until recently, I thought I had a pretty normal life. I met my wife Emma at a mutual friend's New Year's Eve party, 2013. She was wearing a red dress and no shoes, holding a half glass of champagne and dancing barefoot in someone else's kitchen. I remember watching her laugh at a joke I didn't hear and thinking, that's the kind of woman who changes your life. She did. We dated for 3 years, married by year 4, bought a house in the suburbs, started a family. She was brilliant, genuinely sharp, witty, the kind of person who could win an argument without raising her voice. She had this warmth that made everyone around her feel at ease. And when she smiled at me, it felt like the rest of the world went quiet. For a long time, we were good. Not perfect, but solid. Until slowly, subtly, something shifted. Like a storm moving in just beyond the horizon. You don't feel the rain yet, but the air's already changed. At first, it was small. She started sleeping in later, even when the kids were already up. She'd forget to respond to my texts, smiled less, laughed less, stared off into the distance more often during dinner. When I asked if she was okay, she always said she was just tired. Tired from the kids. Tired from the routine. Tired of feeling like life had become predictable. And that's when she said it. Maybe we should try therapy before we stop trying at all. I didn't realize it then, but she wasn't asking for help. She was laying the groundwork, preparing me for a narrative, one where she was the victim and I was the reason she felt numb. And so, like a fool trying to save something I didn't know was already on fire, I said yes. When we first started therapy, I was hopeful. Not optimistic, just hopeful in that quiet, desperate way people are when they're trying to outrun something they can't name yet. I thought, maybe this will help her talk to me again. Maybe she just needs someone else to say the same things I've been trying to say in a different voice. Maybe we'd remember how to be on the same side again. But that's not what happened. At first, I kept telling myself it was just therapy fatigue. The sessions were draining. Emma talked a lot about feeling alone in the relationship, how I didn't check in emotionally, how she felt like a single parent even when I was in the room. It was hard not to feel defensive, but I listened. I tried to listen. Still, something about the way she spoke in those sessions felt curated, like she was narrating a version of our marriage that I didn't quite recognize. And I could see our therapist trying to stay neutral, but even he seemed confused by how detached she was. Outside the sessions, it was like she'd already left. She stopped initiating conversation. Date nights became solo nights, her needing space. She spent more time out of the house than in it. Errands that used to take 20 minutes now lasted 2 hours. She said she was catching up with old friends, but never mentioned names. And whenever I offered to watch the kids so she could have time to herself, she acted like I was inconveniencing her by asking too many questions. It wasn't just the emotional distance anymore. It was logistical, and it was growing. I started paying closer attention, not because I was paranoid, but because things weren't adding up. She started dressing differently when she went out. Her phone never left her side, not even when she showered. She'd flip the screen down every time she got a text, and I couldn't help noticing how often those texts came in at night. One afternoon, I was folding laundry while she was in the shower and noticed one of her nicer lingerie sets, the red one she used to save for our anniversaries, was gone. I hadn't seen it in weeks. That same night, I checked the bank statement. A $143 charge to a boutique hotel downtown. She said it was a day pass for the spa, that she and a girlfriend had gone to decompress. No girlfriend's name, no photos, nothing tagged on social. Just a vague smile and a quick change of subject. I didn't say anything. Not yet. Instead, I offered to take the kids to my mom's that weekend. Give Emma a break, some time to herself. My mom's house was quiet. It always is since my dad passed. She watched Liam and Sophie while I sat with her on the back porch, explaining everything. She listened, really listened. And she said something I haven't forgotten since. Women know how to leave soft, Zach, quiet, so you don't even notice they're gone until they've already locked the door behind them. That hit harder than I expected. When I got home Sunday evening, Emma barely looked up from her phone, and that's when I started looking, quietly, thoughtfully. Not like a man searching for proof, but like someone retracing steps in a house he no longer recognized. I didn't find anything concrete yet. But I started asking more questions. Innocent ones. Where she went. Who she was with. Nothing accusatory, just curious. She hated it. Said I was smothering her. That she couldn't breathe without being interrogated. When I was mowing the lawn, my next-door Lexi waved me over to chat. Said she saw Emma's friend coming by the house last Thursday, midday. Tall guy, beard, drove a black sedan. Didn't realize you were home, she said. I wasn't, I told her. I didn't even need to press for more. The discomfort in her eyes said enough. She knew she'd said too much. That night I noticed Emma had logged out of our shared iCloud account. Said she needed digital space. And then, the next morning, the call from Marcus, my boss. Technically my business partner, though almost no one in the company knows that. On paper, he's the CEO. I'm the senior web designer with a loaded client list and a flexible schedule. Keeps things clean. He sounded off. Zach, HR got a call this morning. Anonymous tip, he said. Accusation of workplace misconduct, sexual harassment, completely baseless. I felt my stomach drop. From who? No idea. No names, just a blocked number and a concerned employee story. But here's the thing. HR needs to show protocol, so we're staging it. You're getting fired, temporarily. Play along. Play along? Yeah. We'll make it seem real. Time-stamped email, deactivated credentials. Give it a few days. I'll loop you back in after we do some internal cleanup. He paused. You and I both know this isn't about work. I didn't respond right away, because the potential truth was already rising in my throat. I wasn't 100% sure, but I felt like I knew who it could have been. Someone with a grudge and feeling like I'm getting in their way somehow. So they want to hurt me by any means. And the person I thought it was sitting at our kitchen table texting someone who wasn't me. That night I told Emma I'd lost my job. Not in passing. Not like it was just a bad day. Emma was sitting on the couch with her legs tucked to the side, so I sat on the other end. The kids were already asleep upstairs, and I said the words slowly, like saying them out loud would make them real. Emma, I was fired today. She didn't even look up from her phone. Are you serious? She said, thumb still scrolling. I waited, gave her the silence to absorb the weight of it. Yeah, I said. Apparently there was an anonymous complaint, something about misconduct. HR had to act on it. Protocol. Her face barely shifted, just a shrug. That's weird. Weird. That's what she called a career-breaking accusation, a reputation-destroying, family-threatening crisis. No anger on my behalf, no questions, no fear. She didn't ask if I was okay, didn't ask what the complaint said, who might have sent it, or what we were going to do next. Just a vague, detached weird. Like I told her the grocery store was out of oat milk. And that's when it hit me. Not just what had happened, but what it meant. That's when I stopped pretending everything was okay. Because the woman sitting across from me was no longer the wife I married. She didn't even bat an eye. No emotion. She had to be prepared, or she had to know something. The only way someone can act that indifferent is if they don't care about you. Made the call themselves. Or worse, both. I started watching. Not obsessively, not even suspiciously, just observantly. Like a man finally admitting the silence in his house wasn't just quiet, it was the absence of something vital. The signs were everywhere if you knew what to look for. Her phone never left her side, not even during bath time with the kids. She started buying new lingerie, but I never saw it worn at home. A random charge popped up on our credit card, $212.38 at the Lamont Hotel downtown. She said it was a girls' trip with her friend Tara. Tara, who moved to Arizona last spring. She must have forgot I knew or didn't know I knew. And the texts. At first, I didn't go through her phone. I wanted to respect her privacy. But one night, she left it on the charger in the kitchen. I glanced. Just one message. You make me feel alive again. I can't wait. No name. Just a heart emoji. Deleted within seconds of me reading it. She started using the kids as an excuse to disappear. I need time for myself, she said. You don't understand what it's like being touched all day by toddlers. So, I made it easy for her. I'd take Liam and Sophie to my mom's for the afternoon. Mom lives about 30 minutes away. She took one look at me, handed me a cup of tea, and asked, You must have found out more. Do you want to talk about what's happening? So I did. I told her about the staged firing, the hotel charge, the coldness, and worst of all, the feeling that Emma wasn't just lying. She was rewriting our marriage, turning our years together into a story where she was the victim and I was the ghost she had to survive. My mother didn't say much. She just looked at me with tired, knowing eyes and said, Sometimes the hardest part isn't losing someone. It's realizing they gave up long before you did. A few days later, I was rolling the trash bins to the curb when I saw our neighbor Lexi step onto her porch, stretching with a yawn and a hoodie hanging off one shoulder. She was in her late 20s, lived alone, friendly, laid back, not the type to pry, but always observant. Morning, Zach, she called. Then, casually, Hey, that same guy still coming around? I paused, hand still on the bin. The one you mentioned before? Dark SUV? She nodded, taking a sip from her mug. Yeah, tall, kinda broad. I've seen him pull up a couple more times, always during the day. I figured he was family, but didn't exactly give cousin energy, you know? I let out a short, dry laugh. Yeah, I'm still in the dark on that one. Lexi didn't push. She just tilted her head, studying me for a beat. Curious, but careful. Well, she said, turning to go back inside. Maybe I've just been watching too many mystery shows lately. She offered a faint smile before disappearing behind her door, but I didn't smile. Because something about the way she said it wasn't nosy. It wasn't gossip. It was a quiet confirmation of something I already feared. And suddenly everything felt sharper. Like the fog was finally lifting, and what lay beneath it was darker than I wanted to admit. I needed answers, real ones, before the whole truth buried me alive. It was a Wednesday. The kids were napping. Emma was upstairs, phone glued to her hand as usual. I'd just finished checking our shared cloud account, something I hadn't done in years. Buried under auto backups and junk data were photos I hadn't taken. A hotel room, a wine bottle and 2 glasses, Emma's purse on the dresser, and him. Half of his face visible in the mirror's edge. Tall, fit, smug in that, you know what I just did kind of way. His shirt was half buttoned. Her red lingerie, new, expensive, and definitely not for me, was tossed on the bed behind him. I didn't get upset. I just sat there and let the image crawl into my chest like a weight made of concrete. So when she came downstairs and asked if I wanted anything from Starbucks, I just stared at her. No emotion, straight face. "Do you love him?" I asked. Her hand froze on the counter. "What?" I calmly stood up. I said, "Do you love him?" She blinked, then scoffed. "Zach, what the hell are you talking about?" I walked over and set my phone on the counter. Screen facing her. The photo open. Her face drained. Not with guilt, not with shame, just inconvenience. "You went through my stuff?" she said. That was her defense, not denial, not even an apology, just defense that I'd caught her. All I needed to do was access our shared cloud, so it wasn't like it was hard. But I guess, yes, I had to know, I said. Because I wasn't crazy, Emma. I saw it. I felt it. So many inconsistencies. You've been gone for a long time. You just didn't have the guts to say it out loud. Her arms crossed. Defensive. Detached. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she muttered. "I didn't mean to. I was lonely." Lonely. The time-old excuse to commit such atrocities, especially after making vows and pledging our love for one another. Consider me old-fashioned, but I took my marriage seriously. I would never have put Emma through all of this. I nodded slowly. "So lonely you accused me of harassment to get me out of the house?" Her eyes widened slightly, a flicker of panic. So she did do it. "You think I'd do that?" she said, a little too fast. "I know you did. Your face even confirmed it all." She didn't answer, didn't deny it again, just looked away and bit her lip like she was deciding whether to cry or yawn. And that was it. That was the moment I realized there was nothing left worth saving. "I want a divorce," I said. Calm, measured, like I was just stating the weather. She looked up. "Zach." "No." I raised a hand. "You don't get to explain this. You had months to be honest. Any time. Even during one of our couple therapy sessions, you could have said something. I was let in the dark. I tried to fix the issue like I did countless times in the past. But no, you weaponized therapy, tried to destroy my reputation, neglected our kids, and lied to my face every single day. I'm done." She said something after that. I don't remember what. Maybe it was sorry. Maybe it was just noise. But I walked out, packed a bag, grabbed the kids, and drove straight to my mom's. 2 weeks later. Emma tried to spin the story, of course. Told her friends I'd abandoned the family, left without warning, stopped trying. But the truth has a way of sticking, especially when you stop hiding it. Marcus reinstated me within a week, cleared my name internally, and let the HR report mysteriously disappear. He even handed me a raise, said I'd handled it better than most. A month later, we started the process. The paperwork was fast. but the process wasn't. Emma didn't take it well. At first, she tried to act like we could be civil, split things clean, make it easy for the kids. But the second she realized I wanted full custody, she flipped the switch. She suddenly cared about being a present mother, started saying I was alienating her, that I was making things hostile. Her lawyer pushed for spousal support, claiming she gave up her career to raise the kids, even though she was barely around lately. But I stood firm. I had the photos, the hotel charge, proof that she lied, cheated, and manipulated. And when my lawyer presented it all in mediation, Emma's tune changed. She agreed to shared custody, part-time, week on, week off, no spousal support, no further drama, not because she suddenly respected me, but because she knew she'd lose in court. It took about 3 months to finalize everything. Fast for a divorce, painful just the same. It took about 6 weeks after the divorce was finalized for me to officially move out. The old house sat quiet for a while. Too many memories in every wall, every hallway. I spent a few weekends packing what I wanted, donating what I didn't, and ignoring the pieces of furniture that felt like they belonged to someone else now. Emma stayed in the house for a bit, more out of habit than attachment, I think. But once it was listed, she barely made an effort to keep it show-ready. Within 2 months, we had a buyer. She took her share and moved into a condo closer to the city. As for me, I found a smaller place, clean, 2 bedrooms, close enough to Mom that I could drop by for dinner or get help when the kids had the flu. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I let Liam and Sophie help decorate their rooms. Posters, glow-in-the-dark stars, hand-painted signs with their names. They adjusted quicker than I expected. Kids are resilient like that. I kept the routine steady. Pancakes on Sundays, movie nights on Fridays, walks after school when the weather was nice. The weeks without them were hard at first. The silence hit different, but the silence didn't feel so empty anymore. Emma and I don't fight anymore. No yelling, no ill will toward each other, no long texts or desperate texts. Just logistics now. Pickups, school events, doctor appointments. Our conversations are short, polite, cordial even. She has her moments of little flashes of guilt or tension in her voice. Like she wants to say more but doesn't know how to say it. Or maybe knows it wouldn't change anything. Maybe she reflected and saw how she did me and that's on her. The guy from the messages? As far as I know, they aren't seeing each other anymore. Found out that guy was married with a family of his own. When everything blew up, I guess he either ghosted her or went through his own trials and tribulations, leaving Emma in the fallout if she was going to stay with him, that is. She never said it directly, but I could see it in her face. The shame. The loneliness. Sometimes I catch her looking at the kids a little too long before they leave with me. Like she's remembering what she broke. Like she knows she traded something solid for something selfish, and now she's standing in the ruins trying to act like it's fine. But that's not my burden anymore. I don't hate her. Never did, but I did have anger for a while. But now I'm just done trying to understand her choices. She's still figuring herself out, still pretending everything's under control. I hope she finds peace one day. Not for us, but for the kids. And me. I stopped waiting for closure from her. It wouldn't fix anything, so I just have to let it be and let time do its thing. I also found something better right across the street. Lexi. Before I moved, we started talking. Taking it slow one day at a time. I was being a little cautious at first. It never felt forced. It started with quick waves on the driveway. Then coffee over the fence. Then walks with her golden retriever while the kids were at school. She never pried about Emma, never pitied me. It was like she knew in her own way. She just listened, teased me sometimes. Made me laugh when I forgot about something. She had a calmness about her, a warmth I didn't realize I'd missed. Her nonchalant demeanor felt reassuring in its own weird way. It made everything feel real, present. One night, after a long conversation on her porch about old movies and what healing actually looks like, she said something I'll never forget. "You don't have to prove you're okay, Zach." You just have to show up. And that stuck. So, we're taking it slow. I didn't bring her around the kids just yet, but since she was our neighbor, they already knew her. It made things feel easier. Familiar. But in the meantime, I'm rebuilding what matters. My bond with Liam and Sophie is stronger than ever. We talk more, laugh more. I've even started journaling with them. Just little 3 things I loved today, entries we do at bedtime. They don't know it, but it's healing me too. Emma checks in from time to time. Mostly surface stuff, schedule swaps, school notes, receipts for the kids' clothes. She started dating again, I think, but I've stopped thinking about it altogether with Lexi around. It wasn't for me to think about anymore anyways. The anger's still there sometimes. The betrayal still echoes, but it's fading, losing its shape, becoming a chapter I survive, not the story I'm stuck in. Betrayal isn't always loud. It doesn't always come crashing through the door or show up with lipstick stains and late-night confessions. Sometimes it festers quietly. It grows in the spaces where you stop paying attention, in the comfort zones, the routines, the silence you convince yourself is peace. I tried to hold it together, tried to fix what was cracking. But some things aren't yours to save, and that's okay. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let go, adjust your sails, and chart a new direction. Because staying in place, staying comfortable, that's how things rot. But choosing the discomfort of change, that's how you grow. I lost a wife to a man I never met and never needed to. Because in losing her, I found a part of myself I didn't know I'd been missing. And maybe, just maybe, I found someone new who sees that part too. Healing isn't loud. It takes its time, its quiet nights and deep breaths. Journaling with your kids. Folding laundry while the radio hums low. It's making pancakes when you feel like crying. It's saying, I love you, to your kids and meaning it even on the hard days. It's laughing on a porch with someone who doesn't try to fix you. Just sits with you, exactly as you are. I'm not where I thought I'd be. I'm not who I used to be. But I'm becoming someone I like again. And right now, that's enough. Maybe love comes back in quiet ways, in long walks and slow mornings, in awkward first steps and conversations that feel like home. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. For yourself, for your people, for the life you still get to build. I know I am. And this time, I'm here for it.